The last chapter is the final and free quest arc that will be taking place in Valhalla before the end of the year, which is summed up quite nicely by the game director Gareth Glover, who stated in the Assassin's Creed 15th anniversary presentation as Eivor tying up the story arcs that were established in the game, where we will reunite with some key characters, including some influential historical ones. Now, it's clear he's referencing King Alfred, King Harold, and Guthrum, King of East Anglia, who we can all see slight teasers of in the last chapter trailer, and all of them who played a large role in the Valhalla storyline. But more on that shortly, because I want to be straight up with you here before we go any further in this video, and that is a very polite spoiler warning, and I want to explain briefly as to how this info has actually come about, because I think you'll find it quite interesting, to be honest, because everything we're going to discuss here has been found in the game files by Pedder, who has done a terrific job at forecasting all the content coming to Valhalla in the last year and a half. Now, the difference regarding this info comparatively to insider leaks per se, and I'm talking about journalistic word of mouth info from people that actually work at Ubisoft, by the way, is that these game file references have been purposefully uploaded to the Valhalla game client by Ubisoft developers, and this means that this info is in the public domain and in every single person's Valhalla game client if you've updated to the latest patch and know where to look in the data that is actually stored in your computer. That's not to say it's easy, but it is there. Now, I think it's a fair question to ask as to why do Ubisoft actually do this? Why do they place these purposeful game hinting entries into their latest updates almost like clockwork at every 5-week update rotation for the last 2 years? Because the argument here is that it's not done on purpose, which I'm not sure is entirely accurate, to be honest. And if I may be so bold, I do think this is quite deliberate in certain circumstances, because they enjoy us, that being the community, talking about their game, theorizing on what's to come and building up hype for their next title update, because it means that they can maintain a consistent flow of incremental interest and anticipation until their next announcement, with multiple content creators and community discussions contributing to new theories and interesting proposals, as well as it costing them absolutely nothing in the marketing department to do so. So in short, we have a good time enthusiastically speculating on what it all means from the few breadcrumbs they throw to us in the game files, which don't all turn out to be right, by the way. But that's all part of the fun. In fact, Jose Ariza, the post-launch producer for Valhalla, recently announced his departure from Ubisoft on his Twitter account a few months ago, and I think he's done a terrific job, by the way, over the years with all the amazing content he and his teams have created. So I wished him well on Twitter for whatever project he decides to work on next, and he kindly responded to me with, "Thanks, Mr. Sleuth," smiley face, which, if you didn't know what a sleuth is, it's someone who is described as investigating crimes or mysteries. And bear in mind, this was the post-launch producer for all of Valhalla's content who has said this, so it's quite clear to me that he's enjoyed the speculative yet grounded coverage we've whipped up for Valhalla in the last couple of years. And if you're watching this, Jose, cheers again for your work on Valhalla, mate. Now, on top of that, Pedder has also found this Odin meme left by the game devs in the game files. It's the Allfather saying, "Odin wants you to do better," which was hidden in a dead-end folder, so I'm told, which I think is absolutely hilarious, to be honest with you, because the game developers know there's going to be enthusiastic people just like Pedder poring over their work, and this is the game devs having some fun with everyone who actually likes to go rummaging around the game files, which I do think is quite great. Now, of course, I don't just make game file videos like this when it comes to Valhalla. I've made over 200 Valhalla videos covering all expansions and updates. But quite frankly, and to speak candidly, if Ubisoft didn't want to do this anymore in terms of adding game file teasers into every update, these type of videos wouldn't exist at all. And that's cool with me, to be honest. They decide what they place in their public client. But the caveat to that is they would arguably generate less hype around their game between updates, and less conversations would be had about their game because of it. And I can only conclude that they enjoy seeing the community active and engaged as opposed to not being so. And for those reasons, this breadcrumb leakage has all been somewhat off the cuff or nonchalant intentional over the last 2 years, and this is no exception in my opinion, which is a solid segue into this bit of info that I want to share with you. So again, I'm going to drop another spoiler alert here, so we're all on the same page, but if you are watching this far, you're already fully committed, so bloody good work. And that's this game file entry of ACK, that meaning Assassin's Creed Kingdom, which was Valhalla's internal codename before Valhalla was announced, followed with EX, which means expansion or content title update, followed again by Rift teaser, Rift of course being the internal codename for the next AC game called Mirage, with the teaser referring to a quest at the end of Valhalla which leads into the Mirage game. But it doesn't stop there, because this new reference Pedder has found is Meet Roshan, which is super exciting because Roshan is the mentor of Basim and taught him everything he knows about the way of the Hidden Ones, which we will fully explore in Mirage. She was born in 800 AD, and with Valhalla taking place between 872 and 878 AD, she would be approximately 70 to 80 years old when she appears in Valhalla. So not exactly the sprightly young spring chicken she once was, and that begs the question, why has she made the journey to England? And for me, the only answer here is Basim, and that's because I reckon as soon as he became fused with Loki's Isu consciousness, he used the Hidden Ones as a useful tool to kind of network or search for Odin reincarnated, eventually locating Eivor and by extension Odin, and thus abandoning any affiliation or loyalty with the Hidden Ones in the process, leading to Hytham's dismay. Now, because Basim has presumably abandoned the Hidden Ones and their creed for his own gain, Roshan, who is noted by Ubisoft as being uber loyal to the Hidden Ones, has now come in search of her old student for reasons we don't yet know. And I really welcome your thoughts and ideas down below in the comments on this one, by the way. And actually, please do leave a like when you're down there. It really does help me out on YouTube. So thank you very much. And if you haven't done so already, do come and join our awesome Discord community. The invite link is in the pinned comments, so hopefully see you there after this video. Now, I did whip up another video a while ago regarding this Rift teaser game file entry, which didn't include Meet Roshan in it. So we had an idea that a crossover was potentially in development, but we didn't really know what. But Yoraptor subsequently asked Jean-Luc Sala, the art director of AC Mirage, about this specific game file entry in an interview recently. So listen to this.
I know something is cooking in Valhalla to breach the Mirage game, but yeah, I don't have anything more to say.
So that is as good as confirmed to me, and you can kind of notice a little smirk he lets slide as soon as Yor asks him that question, which I found quite telling, to be honest with you. So solid question from Yor, and I've linked his video down below, well worth a watch. But alright then, if Roshan is indeed arriving in Valhalla and helping bridge the Mirage game to the Valhalla game, as Jean-Luc Sala has stated, will this occur in the last chapter update, or perhaps will this be another update closer to when Mirage releases, which is suspected to potentially be the middle of next year? Now, I'm leaning towards this being a separate update entirely, perhaps becoming available the closer that we are to Mirage's release, because it would encourage people to jump back into Valhalla and get hyped for the new game. Whereas if you were to release it in December, which is when I think the last chapter update will release, players will perhaps forget all about this Mirage quest 6 months down the line. So enthusiastic puzzle piecing as usual here, but I do reckon this last chapter concludes all the storylines of Valhalla tied up in a very nice bow, with Eivor travelling around the world to meet all different main storyline characters we mentioned earlier, and that lines up with the game file entries Pedder also found, with this entry in particular denoting one of the main quests starting in the settlement, which we also get a glimpse of in the trailer. And notice how these entries have TLC stated in them, by the way, which of course is in reference to the last chapter, whereas the Rift teaser Meet Roshan doesn't have this at all, adding to that speculation that it may be entirely separate quest lines or a completely different update. But that aside, we also have the Winchester main quest, which we can also see in the trailer with King Alfred, as well as the Northwich or Norwich main quest, which appears with Eivor perching above the longhouse there. Now, additionally, there's another main quest reference as the Cross in the game files, which we can see Guthrum eyeing up here in this scene, which replaces a longboat. So I've got a feeling we're going to be experiencing the spread of Christendom throughout the Norse population who have settled in England. As if you remember, Alfred has already tried to convert Eivor to become a Christian, and Guthrum historically ends up being baptized and rules over East Anglia as Ethelstan until his death. So perhaps we see this occur here in game, which would tie up this thread quite nicely, just as game director Gareth Glover stated in the revealed trailer. Now, as for the Animus glitches, they're referenced in the game files repeatedly as well, lining up with each one of these main quests. And even though it was literally years ago now, Basim did say in the main storyline that he created the Animus anomalies after his fight with Eivor at the end of the story, where he became trapped in the Grey as a way to entice Layla into the Animus as a plot for his own escape, which he succeeds at. Now, he states that he calculated where Eivor's grave was, and once he was sure on its location, he subsequently sent that to the modern day assassins to then uncover. In fact, Pedder has found reference to the in-game UI HUD being turned off in the present day within the last chapter questline, hinting at the possibility that some more present day cutscenes may be playing out here in this update as well, but we're just going to have to wait and see. So I think this is all interlinked though in that regard, and this last chapter will lead us to Vinland after we complete all of these main glitch quests, which is subsequently observed by Basim, as we can also see here from the trailer. On top of that, Pedder has found an entry a month ago of Hytham setting up another Assassin's Bureau in this last chapter questline, with Pedder going on to inform me it's distinctive from the Assassin's Bureau in Ravensthorpe, meaning it's brand new. And interestingly, back in February last year, Darby McDevitt, the narrative director of Valhalla, gave an interview to Kotaku where he explained Hytham's name in further detail. He said that fans were wondering why Edward Kenway of AC Black Flag had given his son an Arabic name, that being Hytham, and that's because he said we wanted to implement connections to other games, with Darby going on to suggest that Hytham, as the assassin who first brought the Hidden Ones to England, as an appropriate connection to do so. So the way I see this panning out is that Hytham creates a new Hidden Ones Bureau in Vinland after travelling across the Atlantic with Eivor, where we pick up this fantastic cutscene that links all the previous games together. As we know, the Piece of Eden Eivor handed over to the Vinland tribe is the same tribe that Connor is born into, subsequently discovering the Piece of Eden himself in AC3. Or alternatively, Hytham sets up a brand spanking new Hidden Ones Bureau in England outside of Ravensthorpe and inside King Alfred's new Christendom Kingdom of England, with Eivor sailing off to the sunset after settling business with all the big boy quest characters. Now, Darby McDevitt has also mentioned numerous times in interviews, Reddit posts and in videos that it was a priority of his to tie up as many loose ends as possible in the Assassin's Creed series in the Valhalla game, and for me that's something to really look forward to in this update, because this game has been a proper saga, and I do believe we're going to get a solid crescendo update here which rounds off this game and the previous AC installments quite nicely. Now, Pedder has also found reference in the game files of future updates arriving in Valhalla even after the last chapter with brand new rewards. So click the video on your screen right now to find out what they are, and hopefully I'll see you there in just a second. Big thanks to Pedder for all of his hard work, and those of you in the Reloads Club who do support me through your own hard-earned cash. Absolute legends. Coffee is on me. Cheers for watching, and see you in that video on your screen right now in just a second.